Officer Marshall, tell the court what you did. All of it. All right. Seems the time has come. So have I.
Oh my gosh.
I had to do it that day. I couldn't just stand by and let it die. I stole the detective's ID and dressed like him. I planned to take out the evidence. I wasn't expecting Officer Meekins. I knocked him out. Managed to escape. I knew which areas wouldn't be caught in the camera. There wasn't any murder in the evidence room at 5:15.
Okay. So the supposed victim was really you. But there's one thing I still don't understand. Traces of a large quantity of blood were found on the floor of the evidence room. If no one was murdered, then how could that be?
Officer Meekins managed to cut his own hand. My guess is he's the donor. It was way too much blood for such a small donation.
Then where'd it come from?
I was holding a bag of blood.
Stand by and let what die?
When you say it, you mean... Do you even have to ask, partner? The SL9 incident.
2 years have passed since that case was closed. It was going to completely end with the transferal that day.
Not if I have anything to do with it. That incident's not over. But what did you hope to accomplish by sneaking into the evidence room? When a case is closed, only the case's lead detective can look through the evidence. That's really, really suspicious.
I know.
I wanted to have a look at it myself one more time, no matter what the cost. I don't care what anyone says, partner. That case is mine. But Officer Marshall wasn't in charge of that investigation. Why does he care so much about it?
Interesting point.
That day was my last chance. That's why
he stole the ID and planned to take the evidence away.
Why did you disguise yourself as Detective Goodman? If I didn't make it look like Goodman was carrying out the evidence transferal, I'd be arrested for stealing evidence, which wouldn't get me anywhere.
So you did it to fool the security camera. And Detective's ID card?
I stole that the morning of the incident. So that really was why Goodman started filling out the lost item report.
Alright, verification.
I returned his ID card. I left it on the floor in the prosecutor's office parking lot.
Is he implying that he returned it onto a dead body? Or like near a dead body?
I guess so. The ID card I found was left there by Officer Marshall.
So essentially, you managed to succeed despite your lack of foresight.
What do you mean, partner?
I mean the fingerprint-activated lock, of course. No matter how well you disguise yourself, you can't change your fingerprints. Under normal circumstances, you wouldn't have been able to open that locker yourself.
That's true. That's really odd.
Yeah.
But he could have... But he could because a rubber glove just happened to get stuck in the door.
Oh.
Which obviously... It can't be just happened to be. Something caused that.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Evie just... Oh, jeez.
Is she on the table now?
Yeah, the kitty just jumped up hit the mic, and now she's trying to lay in front of the computer. Oh, God.
That's fine.
Oh, God.
Let her do that.
Maybe.
That means Detective Goodman must have opened the locker before Officer Marshall.
Maybe.
Not expecting Meekins, so he knocked him out.
You pulled a knife on Officer Meekins and tried to drive him off? Let's just say I was a little surprised. I only planned on being in the evidence room for no more than 5 minutes. I didn't think anyone would actually come in during that short time.
Officer Meekins certainly is a one-in-a-million type of person. Mistaking a detective for an intruder and demanding to be shown his ID. I'll have to think a little more about his raise this year. I consider all raises for the police department.
It's a lot of work.
I know.
Wow.
Completely
When did
thankless.
Edgeworth get so much influence? Anyway, he threw himself at me and I ended up cutting him slightly. I'm sorry it had to turn out that way. With me knocking him out and everything.
By the way, what happened to your knife? Oh, you mean this one? Right here? I don't know what to say. I hope you clean that knife, because it's covered in blood.
So you knocked Officer Meekins out and escaped, and he knew what wouldn't be picked up.
So you did your research beforehand. Those who go into the desert unprepared don't live long, partner. I didn't think it would make a difference, though. The security tape is erased every 6 hours. If all had gone as planned, no footage would have been left.
It was like a very short interval to do wipes for.
Yeah, like, you could discover something happened the next day and be like,
know.
I wish we had those tapes.
That's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
However, you bloodied your coat in your struggle with Officer Meekins.
Evie, no! Oh my god. She's drinking my tea. Oh my god.
No, don't let her drink.
Well, I didn't know
Oh,
she
don't
was, her
caffeinate the
head
cat.
was in the thing. Sorry
don't
for
caffeinate
the
cat.
random outburst. Evie's drinking
Something
my
was in
tea.
the security room when I came out. The jig
Maybe-
would have been up.
Okay.
I opened my locker and stashed it in there. What was Officer Meekins doing during that time?
Oh shit. Oh my god. I almost dropped the cat. Oh god.
Drop her. It's
Sorry.
just a cat.
Fine.
They're
The cat will
droppable.
land perfectly on its back
I'm sorry,
every time.
baby. Oh my gosh, she's mad at me. I put her down. So she's gonna jump right back up. Please don't.
What else? He was sleeping like a baby.
So what you're saying is, on that day, there was no murder.
But the blood found at the scene certainly indicates a crime took place. What are you, blind? The victim shown on that tape is me, and I'm not dead yet, partner.
So you stole the evidence from the locker.
Actually, no, I didn't.
Why not?
When I opened the locker, the evidence was already gone.
Except for the glove, I guess. That glove is clearly
Yeah.
part of the evidence. What? Mr. Edgeworth, where is that evidence? It's still missing, Your Honor.
Detective Goodman's locker was already empty. Someone else stole the evidence. Officer Marshall, may I ask you one thing? Fire away, partner. It's a free country. Just remember, I'm also free to decide whether or not to answer. Why did you do this? Stealing a detective's ID, injuring a police officer. This is no small offense.
Moreover, you're an officer yourself. This will have serious consequences. It can't just be forgiven with a simple cut in salary.
Not that salary cuts are ever a valid solution. Like I said, this isn't your case. It's mine. This one is mine. And I'll do anything it takes to get an answer I'm satisfied with.
Sounds like a conspiracy theorist. One witness has an unusual amount of zeal. Let's hear more.
I can't just forget the SL9 incident. You know why?
Okay, let's press. Why?
But that case was solved 2 years ago, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
That's the reason the evidence was stored in the evidence room. Joey Darkey was convicted for his crime.
Joey Darkey.
One thing I can say for sure is he deserved his sentence. I remember the Joey Darkey case. It involved serial murders, didn't it?
I don't intend to complain about how it turned out, but there's something that still bothers me. Something went down at that trial. Something no one will talk about.
What happened?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out.
No one will talk about it.
Why is he so concerned with that incident? Maybe I should present him with what I think his real reason is. I had a feeling it'd wind up here sooner or later.
Everyone involved here is related in some way to that case. We better take another look at the files. Oh!
All right, we had never actually examined it.
Yeah, we were given files and we never looked at it.
All right.
Oops.
All right.
I think I remember what it is, but we should read that. It would be last, yeah.
All right, so...
Perpetrator Joey Darke.
He
Joey
was
Darke.
serially murdering people, sentenced to death. He killed
Neil
6
Marshall.
people. Ah, Neil Marshall.
Remember when we saw
Last name as our witness.
we saw the picture of the detectives in a circle. There were 2 cowboys.
Oh yeah, you're right. Totally forgot about that photo. It's been a while since we've seen that photo.
And the witnesses were Lana and Emma.
It's all here. And
Oh,
the
shit.
investigators were Gant and Lana.
So Lana used to be an investigator.
All right. Well, looks like we have our stuff.
Presento.
Pow!
Officer Marshall, I think I understand. I think I know why you care so much about the SL9 incident. Sounds like you've been sipping too much cactus juice, partner. I have the SL9 incident file here. The name Marshall is mentioned in here. And a list of murder victims. Neil Marshall. Are you related to this man?
Neil Marshall.
Yeah. I'm sure you've heard the name.
Miles shouldn't be
2 years
surprised
ago.
by this.
Yeah, he should be like, oh, I should know everything about this.
Yeah, like you should know that this officer's brother was killed. Oh,
Yeah.
ah,
Oh. He received the same lousy prosecutor award you got.
what? A prosecutor?
Must be talking about the King of Prosecutors Award.
Such a silly, awkward name for an award. Now I remember. Prosecutor Neil Marshall. He handled the SL9 case before I did.
That's right. He was killed. And the case fell into your hands.
But what's his relation to you?
He was my brother. He was investigating the murders with Damon Gant, then Deputy Chief of Police. Extra hat in corner.
Yeah.
The group of detectives I was part of worked under them.
I mean, that is judiciously placed in such a way where you
They knew
overlook
it'd
him
be
at first.
Yeah. We were desperate to prosecute the killer. Whoa. I forgot that's how he looked.
Looks cool.
Joey Darke. My brother fought Darke and was killed.
Fart.
No. Farted Darke. That was the first time Darke left behind any evidence. That was all we needed. He was arraigned and incarcerated. The case was finally closed. At least, according to the public records.
What do you mean?
My brother couldn't have been killed by Joey Darke. I knew my brother better than anyone. But no one could have beaten him in a fight.
And that's
Okay.
it? That's your reason for your insane actions?
There's more to my brother's death than what the records say. No matter how much you try to hide it,
On.
you can't fool me and my magnetic hat.
That's a real snapback. Eh? Eh? Well, at least one thing's for certain. Now we know what happened at the police department on the day of the crime. That was the last day the SL9 case could be reopened. Not satisfied with its resolution, Officer Marshall planned to steal the evidence.
Disguising himself as Detective Goodman, he entered the evidence room. Officer Meekins confronted him, so he rendered him unconscious and fled.
Yes, this mystery has finally been cleared up. No murder took place at the police department that day.
Well, that was weird. His finger, you saw that?
Yeah, he kind of glitched over.
Glitchy Edgeworth.
Glitchworth. The things that happen by
Glitchworth?
chance never cease to amaze. At exactly the same time as a murder at the prosecutor's office, this fake murder was going on at the police department. blah, blah, blah.
Chance? It's gotta be more than just that.
Don't be naive, Edgeworth. So, if no one was murdered at the police department on the day of the crime, that means the murder in the prosecutor's office's parking lot was a real one. Which in turn means only one person could have committed the crime. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye.
But wait, a verdict wasn't reached in yesterday's trial.
Which is why we examined the incident at the police department today.
But
There's only one reason the defendant was not convicted yesterday. There yet remained the mystery of the simultaneous murder at the police department.
it seems to me this boy's got the draw on you, partner.
All of the mysteries at the police department have been resolved, no doubt about it. Our sole murder took place at the prosecutor's office. The only suspect is Lana Skye. And the testimony of one Miss Angel Star is completely incontestable.
That's not true. There are many things to contest about it.
If you have a response, make it a single word or less.
Fuck. Arrgh.
I mean, your only one word objection should be objection.
Yeah.
I rest my case. And it seems this trial has reached its conclusion. There's no room for doubt. This will surely conclude presently. I'm going to finish this trial right now.
Definitely.
Well done, Mr. Wright. Thanks to you, I didn't need to waste my time disproving the alleged murder at the police department.
There's no doubt what I need to prove. There's no doubt what I proved today is true. The apparent murder on the security camera's tape really was fake. But I didn't realize that would end up proving Lana guilty.
Now then, the time for the verdict has arrived. This court finds the defendant. Here it is, final one. No one's ever gonna say anything.
There's no hold it happening.
God damn it!
Emma!
Your Honor, wait!
Emma! Emma!
The defense has an objection, a scientific objection. Right?
Oh. What do you mean, Wright? That's my name.
Mr. Wright, are you this girl's guardian?
Oh.
Your Honor? Oh, in a sense.
Please, Your Honor, all I'm asking for is a minute of your time. Please hear me out. Mr. Edgeworth, please.
I don't want to leave any loose ends. You want a minute? I'll give you 3.
How generous.
Oh, wow.
Oh, this is not testimony. Oh, okay.
I was kind of in shock. I mean, finding out the SL9 incident referred to the Joey Darkay killings.
Now that she mentions it, names of both Skye sisters were in that file.
Y'all should talk more about things.
Yeah.
But that's when I figured it out. I mean, what Officer Marshall was trying to do that day. So I knew his fingerprint had nothing to do with the crime. That left only one thing, the other handprint.
Good job, Emma.
You mean the traces of blood found on Detective Gumshoe's locker? But no fingerprints were found on it, right?
No, but I figured if I examined it scientifically, I'd be sure to find a clue. So, I ran over there and I looked at it again.
Oh, I totally
job,
forgot
Emma.
that she wasn't even here this whole time until she burst in.
Remember she ran away crying.
I forgot. I just assumed she was there.
So did you find something?
No.
That was an opportune
Bless you.
sneeze.
Huh?
Sorry. I guess I'm not much of a scientific investigator after all.
All right, you
Aw.
deserve to fail all those tests. I'm
All right, well, you're useless.
Is that all?
Please don't be mad. I'm just a high school student.
That's true. Yeah, I'm just an attorney.
But Mr. Wright, those traces of blood are the only clue we have. If we can't find something wrong with them, please, Mr. Wright, you're a professional. If anyone can save Lana, it's you.
Me? Oh boy. Oh boy.
Time's up. Now then, Mr. Wright, with regard to the incident at the police department, does any reasonable doubt remain? It appears the defense is troubled by the other blood mark. Looking at the floor plans, a handprint was discovered around here. Is there a problem with this?
Mr. Wright, I'm sorry I can't be of more use. But still, if you can't find anything wrong with that blood mark, Lana will be...
Please answer my question, Mr. Wright. We don't have all day.
Yes, Your Honor. If ever I needed to concentrate, it's now.
Choo-choo stay.
What could be wrong with that handprint on Detective Gumshoe's locker? Could there be something I'm missing? Of course.
There's no problem.
Everything's fine. This handprint left at the crime scene clearly shows a contradiction.
The only thing that seems clear is your grasping, Mr. Wright. You've been staring pretty intently at those floor plans. Tell me, is there a problem with them?
Yes, this is strange. Take a good look at these floor plans. Something is missing.
Missing? You mean something hasn't been drawn on there?
Yes, something that when drawn will completely change the meaning of the blood mark.
Let us pray the defense isn't simply trying to buy time. Very well, Mr. Wright.
With all this evidence here, there's got to be something I can use.
Question is, which item can prove something is missing in the floor plans? Don't tell me you just have to select the video.
No. I know what it is.
Missing in the floor plans?
Yeah, I remember.
I do not off the top of my head. What is it?
Bingo.
Okay. I thought that maybe it was the Blue Badger because it is something in the video that's not in this floor plan.
Yeah.
Alright. Take that! Glug, glug, glug.
What about that piece of plywood? The Blue Badger, mascot of the police force. Defender of truth, guardian of proof.
Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
Please look at the floor plans of the crime scene. The Blue Badger is not here. So watch what happens when we put him in. This is where he was dancing at the time of the crime.
Blue Badger.
Well,
what?
that's right. So long as the Blue Badger is dancing here, it would be impossible to place a handprint at this spot on the locker.
Oh, okay. Simple as that.
What?
I like how he's kind of grinning after he's been hit. So that means that... Just exactly what does this mean?
It means it can't be done.
What are you saying? Blood traces were undeniably found on that locker.
Don't look at me. I didn't put it there.
Mr. Wright, think it through scientifically.
Emma?
On that afternoon, Officer Meekins was the one who brought the Blue Badger to the evidence room, right? After he put it down, it would be impossible to leave a handprint on that locker.
So that must mean this blood mark was left there before the blue badger was brought in.
Just one moment. I will not allow such far-fetched balderdash in my courtroom.
It may sound far-fetched, Your Honor, but it's the only possible explanation. On February 21st, in the police department's evidence room, blood was spilled not once, but twice.
But how?
One time was captured on this tape, taken by the security camera. Officer Meekins cut his hand, from which a trivial amount of blood fell.
See, this is how it should be. Just cut right to the relevant bit.
The problem is, the other time, someone bled prior to the struggle shown in this tape. It had to have been Detective Goodman when he was really murdered. What?
That's ridiculous. I refuse to accept your absurd claim.
The murder portrayed in the security tape has been proven to be a fake. However, that does not explain the blood mark found in the locker.
So then, assuming this murder you report really happened, when did it take place? I demand you show evidence that proves when it occurred.
When did the first incident occur?
Wait, when did it happen? To summarize, the defense claims that prior to Officer Meekins being cut by Jake Marshall, who was posing as Detective Goodman, another incident took place in that evidence room.
That's right. The blood mark on the locker proves this.
Very well, then tell us. When did this first incident occur? As Mr. Edwards said, proof must be presented.
Proof that shows when the murder took place. There's only one piece of evidence that can show that.
Now then, will the defense please present its evidence? What shows when the first crime took place?
The only thing I can think of is the logs. The entrance
I'm
logs.
thinking that too. Let's take a look.
Because we haven't figured out what the last one yet. Ooh, 420, dang.
420.
Blaze it.
Yeah. Here we go. We're gonna blaze this up, I think.
Yeah.
I think this is the only thing that makes any sense.
Blaze
Oh
it.
shit. The music didn't stop, but oh wait, no, this isn't a.
No, we're in
fine.
cornered. So
Yeah, okay.
if the crime took place inside the evidence room, then the killer would have had to enter it, and in order to do so, an ID card would have been required.
An ID card. Oh, the ID card record.
Officer Meekins brought the Blue Badger panel into the evidence room at.
Let's see here, 4:50 p.m. If the crime took place before that time, then it would be 4:40 p.m. Miles Edgeworth, just what have you done?
I never would have figured you had the nerve, boy.
Drop the act, witness. It doesn't take a lot of thought to figure out it couldn't have been me.
Nope, I ain't getting it.
I'm afraid I don't understand either. It's clear from the luminol test that blood was there. However, when the second crime took place, both Officer Meekins and Officer Marshall failed to notice the blood.
That means the blood from the first crime was wiped away by the real murderer.
I would have had just 10 minutes to murder the victim, carry his body away, and clean up the blood. Unfortunately, that's physically impossible.
I mean, if you're really fast.
Yeah, I mean, you could... Yeah, it's possible, but hard. That would mean the crime must have taken place before Mr. Edworth entered the evidence room.
Let's look at the chart again.
Come on, there's only two names.
There's only one other card number remaining. 7777777. Talk about a lucky number.
But wait, that doesn't make sense. How could Detective Goodman have entered the evidence room?
Since there's no record of his card being used beforehand, he must have entered along with the real murderer. That's the only plausible explanation.
If the killer had been smart, they would have had Goodman use his card to get in.
Well, he went in with 7777777.
It's a septuple 7. It's 7 sevens.
7 sevens.
Mr. Edgeworth, please look into this ASAP, ASAP, as soon as possible. Find out whose ID number is 777777777. That's 1 7 too many, Your Honor. Unfortunately, I'm unable to look up the owner of that ID card.
That's bullshit.
At least at present.
What? Explain yourself, son.
The ID number 7777777 belongs to someone with a rank of captain or higher. Someone who's a so-called executive officer. We don't have the authority to inquire into such a person's identity.
It's stupid.
That's
ridiculous. Just how?
I'm not finished talking, Mr. Wright. There is one situation in which we can be granted such authority. If an official charge filed against an executive is accepted.
An official charge? You're all alike, aren't you? With your cover-ups and your forgeries.
It's a weird time to get into that.
That's how the prosecutor's office operates.
I mean, we're already discussing a way around it, and he's like... I take pride in my work, Officer Marshall. I would appreciate it if you would keep your slander to yourself.
Slander, is it? Okay. Let me ask a question.
Yes?
No, not to you. To her. The defendant sitting over there.
Oh, he's actually regarding Lana?
Your own little executive. Lana?
We can barely tell she's in the courtroom. Don't be stupid. She's been charged with murder. Of course we've looked up her ID number, and it's not septuple 7.
Don't play me for a pool. Don't
play me for a pool, partner.
Don't play me for a fool, partner. That's not what I want to ask. All I want to know is one thing about that incident.
SL9 incident?
Answer me this, Chief Prosecutor. In that trial 2 years ago, did you really only use legitimate evidence?
Where's Lana? Oh, and then wait, we have to fade her into the same chair or the same stand. Do you need the witness to repeat his question, Chief Prosecutor?
I heard him fine, Mr. Edgeworth.
2 years ago, I was in charge of the prosecution for that trial. At the time,
Occasionally, we felt the powerlessness of the law.
Yes.
Woo. At least I did. Lana! I became a prosecutor in order to suppress crime with the law. But before I realized it, we were the ones being suppressed by the law.
Defendant, just what are you saying? Are you saying you have little faith in our justice system?
That's crazy. Oh, it's Marshall suddenly there.
Wait, what? How is he also?
I'll ask you again, Chief Prosecutor.
No, they just
during that trial 2 years ago,
I guess.
Did you really present all the evidence in court? Now I will go sit down. Can you look at me, an investigator in that crime, in the eye and say that you did?
Chief Prosecutor, you didn't.
I don't have to, Officer Marshall. What?
Why wouldn't you answer him?
Drastic crimes require drastic measures. That's just the way it is.
No, it's not.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Oh, new pose.
Mm-hmm. We did what we had to do in order for him to get the verdict he deserved.
Capital punishment.
But Lana,
We had to kill him.
even if it involves forging evidence. Oh,
This is literally a story of we had to forge evidence in order to make sure this man would die.
Yes.
It's great.
They could have
Just
killed the
this.
wrong guy.
Just this.
wow.
Just ice. See, that's what I'm talking about.
No. No! Ora, ora, ora! Order! Where's my caviar?
Lana's remarks caused such a stir, the chaos in the courtroom could not be quelled. The conclusion
Whoa.
of the trial would have
my
to
God.
wait until the following day. It caused a riot.
I
People
want
are,
my
like, going
caviar,
nuts.
God damn it!
My God.
Well,
Should have wrapped that gavel up, B.
We couldn't. They were too loud.